Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 30th chapter, entitled Description by Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Text number 13. Evam swabharana kalpam tatkalatradayas nadriyante yatha purvam kinasha iva gojaram. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before, even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn-out oxen. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Not only in the present age, but from time immemorial, no one has liked an old man who is unable to earn in the family. Even in the modern age, in some communities or states, the old men are given poison so that they will die as soon as possible. In some cannibalistic communities, the old grandfather is sportingly killed and a feast is held in which his body is eaten. The example is given that a farmer does not like an old bull who has ceased to work. Similarly, when an attached person in family life becomes old and is unable to earn, he is no longer liked by his wife, sons, daughters, and other kinsmen, and he is consequently neglected, what to speak of not being given respect. It is judicious, therefore, to give up family attachment before one attains old age and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should employ himself in the Lord's service so that the Supreme Lord can take charge of him and he will not be neglected by his so-called kinsmen.
So we are reading in this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila's instructions to his mother. And in these verses, he is describing what happens to a conditioned soul, a typical person in this world, especially towards the end of his life. So, Kapila is describing here, Varthayam lupyamanayam arabdhayam punah punaha lobha vibhuto nissattvaha pararte kurute spruham. When he suffers, reverses in his occupation, he tries again and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled in all attempts and is ruined, he accepts money from others because of excessive greed. Kutumbha bharana akalpo mandha bhagyo pruthodhyamaha shriya vihina krupano dhyayan shvasithi mudhadhi. Thus the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. And in the verse that we chanted, Evam swabharana kalpam. Swabharana, maintaining oneself. Swabharana akalpam, he is not able to. Tat kalatradayas tatha. He was maintaining his kalatra. Kalatra is wife. Adayaha, sons, daughters, and others. He was swabharana. He was maintaining them all. Tat kalatradayas tatha. And akalpam. Now he is not able to. Swabharana akalpam. He is not able to maintain them. Nadriyante yatha purvam. And when he was swabharana, when he was maintaining all of them, adriyante, they were highly respecting him. Nadriyante yatha purvam. Now they don't respect him anymore. Nadriyante yatha purvam. Kinasha iva gojaram. Jaram means old age. Gojaram means an old cow or an old bull. And kinasha iva gojaram. A farmer neglects a unproductive bull, doesn't do anything, he's an old bull. So in the same way, even this man who was maintaining his family, wife and others, now he is not able to maintain, and so they do not respect him. Seeing him unable to support them, swabharana kalpam, his wife and others, kalatra adayaha, do not treat him with the same respect as before. Nadriyante yatha purvam, even as miserly farmers, kinasha, do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. Gojaram iva. So in these verses we find some strong words used by Kapila. What happens to us in our old age? Srila Prabhupada used to always tell, because he was surrounded by young disciples, he would always remind them, often remind them, don't think you will be young always. You will become an old man like me. And then here it is described how in old age one becomes nisattvaha, no vitality, nisattvaha. And in the next verse, Kutumbha Bharanena Kalpo Manda Bhagyo Vrutodhyamaha Shriya Vihinaha. Shriya Vihinaha, he is bereft of all. Shriya can mean beauty, it can mean also wealth. Shriya Vihinaha, now he has lost his, when he was young he was so attractive. Now all that beauty is gone, that vitality is gone. And dhyayan shvasiti mudhadhi. This person is such a fool. And here in this today's verse, nadriyante yatha purvam. He was respected before, but now he is not respected anymore. I know a family, generally parents think that when our son grows up, he will take care of us, and that's the great hope. I know a family very closely. These parents had 3 sons, and all 3 sons were married. And when their mother, the father passed away, the mother was old. So you should expect that she has got 3 sons, and sons must be taking care of the mother so well. But actually all the 3 brothers would fight among them. Why are you dumping the mother on me? You take some more time, and so on. And nobody wanted to take, because the 3 sons, their wives come into the picture, come into the life, and none of them want to take care of the mother-in-law. And so she was so neglected. So no one likes an old person in the family. This is what happens. And in Western countries, it is even more, because it's a very competitive world. Everyone has to earn money so much, work so hard, and they have to go different places. And usually parents are left alone. And in Western countries, the old age home is known as a nursing home. In our country, we call a hospital a private hospital. But in Western countries, they are called nursing home. And recently I was interacting with one person, and then he was saying that they do charitable activities. And so I asked him, what kind of work do you do? So he said, we go to nursing homes. We take people to nursing homes. And so I asked him, nursing home? No, it's not like in our country, poor people or anything. These are all Westerners. So then nursing home, what do you do? They have all the money, they have all the wealth, food, everything. He says, yeah, they have everything. But one thing they don't have is they all feel very lonely. So we go and spend half an hour, 1 hour with them, talking to them and just spending a little time with them. And they feel very happy. This is called charitable work. This is called charitable work in Western countries, to spend a little time with the old people. Because nobody wants to spend time with them. They are neglected. Nadriyante yatha purvam. So they are neglected, and this happens. And so that is the kind of a situation when one becomes old. I know another family, very affluent family, and they are also in different places. Sons are in foreign countries, married, son, daughter. And then this family told me something interesting. He said, as a family, they all come together once a year and they remain together, some resort, somewhere they will go, all rich people. They'll stay for 3 days. And 4th day, they never stay, they all go away. I asked, why? What is it, 3 days? He said, maximum 3 days we can stay together. 4th day or 3rd day itself, we will start fighting with each other. Better 4th day we all go away. We cannot even come together. So, these are the kind of situations in modern life, that people cannot stay together, people cannot live together, and when they are old, nobody wants to take care of them, and they are neglected. And another thing that has happened in modern times, because of all the good medical care and such things, the old age is very prolonged, and people live long and they are lonely. It's very sad. So it's very fortunate if one has a good opportunity to live with devotees and think of the Lord, remember the Lord. Such good fortune, which is very essential for elderly people, so that they spend their time, they have earned, they have worked hard all their life, taken care of the family, children, brought them up. Now actually they should rest well and just think of the Lord. That's the right arrangement. In Vedic culture, it is elderly parents are taken good care so that they can think of the Lord and they can be peaceful. But in modern times, we see that all such things, all such good values have vanished. So this is the kind of situation that a conditioned soul goes through, and because he is very attached. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote a song, How to Worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, when I was in college, those early days, and at that time I came in touch with this song, and when I heard this song, it gave me a lot of inspiration to join the temple. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Yadi te haripada saroja sudha rasapana param hrudayam satatam parihritya gruham kali bhavamayam bhaja godruma kanana kunja vidhum. Here Prabhupada has said towards the end of the purport, it is judicious therefore to give up family attachment before one attains old age and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should employ himself in the Lord's service so that the Supreme Lord can take charge of him and he will not be neglected by his so-called kinsmen. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Yadi te haripada saroja sudha rasapana param hrudayam satatam. Very nice, very beautiful expression. If you want to relish the nectar of the lotus feet of Hari constantly in your heart. Yadite Haripada Saroja Sudham Yadite Haripada Saroja Sudha Hrudayam Satatam, and if you want to relish that in your heart, Parihritya Gruham, one should give up home. Parihritya Gruham Kali Bhava Mayam, the home which is Kali Bhava, full of fights and disagreements and dissension, and all such things happen in a home. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Kali Bhava Mayam, Parihritya Graham Kali Bhava Mayam, Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunja Vidhum. And one should worship the moon of the forest of Godruma forests, which is referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, this is the instruction in the Vedic literatures, that especially when one becomes old and Panchasha Urdhvam Vanam Vrajet, when one crosses 50 years of age, at that time one should think of retiring and not continue to struggle hard and maintain life. In other words, at that time Vanam Vrajet, referring to one should take Vanaprastha, one should go to the forest, in the sense that one should take to spiritual life very seriously. That was the instruction. And even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahalad Maharaj also mentions something very similar when his father asked him, what have you learned? What is the best thing you have learned? He says, Tat sadhu manye asura varya dehina sadha samudvigna dhyam asat grihat hitvatma patam gruhamanda kupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. So, very similar, Prahalad Maharaj is also saying, Sadha samuddehinam sadha samudvigna dhyam asat grihat. When the living entity is asat grihat, meaning one who has accepted asat. So that is why the very popular mantra from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says, Asatoma Sadgamaya. It's a prayer that please let me go away from Asat to Sat. So Asat means this material existence, Asat Griham, to hold on to the temporary things in this material world. And what happens when we do that? Sada samudvigna dhyam asat grihat. One will be filled with anxiety. So these are statements in the Bhagavatam, in the Vedic literatures. We must have strong confidence in this. That is a fact. As long as we are holding on to temporary things, asat grihat sadha samudvigna dhyam. One is constantly, samudvigna dhyam means constant anxiety. Hitvatma patam gruhamanda kupam. Prahalad was talking to his father. He was telling his father, your father, you are staying in the family like this as a king. It's actually gruhamanda kupam. It's actually a dark well. Hitva, you should give up, because this gruhamanda kupam is atmapatam. Hitvatmapatam gruhamanda kupam. Atmapatam means a place where there is no opportunity for self-realization. So atmapatam means to kill the soul. Actually it means where the soul has no opportunity for self-realization. Hitvatmapatam gruhamanda kupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. Vanam gataha. And what do you do in vanam gataha? Harim ashrayeta. You must take shelter of Hari. So that is the important instruction in the Bhagavatam, Prahalad Maharaj, Vedic literatures. Because in old age, there are varieties of miseries that one can come across. Of course, not only in old age, all through one's material life, there are miseries. And human life is an opportunity to overcome these miseries of life. Because animals also suffer old age. They also get disease. They also die. And animals, they just have to go through that suffering. Whereas human beings, we can introspect on all these things. Oh yes, I'm going to get old. I'm going to die. What is going to happen to me? Is there a solution for these things? This is an opportunity in the human form of life. And so Vedic literatures urge us that we must try to find a solution for these things. Once, it was in 1976, September, Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram temple. And a magician came to the temple and he sought appointment to meet Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, all right, bring him. And immediately the word spread that Prabhupada is going to meet a magician. And the magician wanted to show something to Prabhupada. So word spread around. Immediately Vrindavan, there was a Gurukul. All the children were brought, teachers and temple leaders, everyone filled up Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada was sitting behind the desk and the magician was there. And he said, and Prabhupada said, yes, show some magic to everybody. So he took a coin and placed it on Prabhupada's hand. And then he said, go! And the coin vanished. And everyone, Prabhupada also laughed happily. And then he had so many other tricks. He brought some feather and then he rubbed a white feather. And then he made Prabhupada pull out. And as he pulled, different colored feathers started coming out. And like that, different tricks he was doing. And Prabhupada was laughing. And said, then he pulled out a coin from Prabhupada's ear. So Prabhupada was enjoying and laughing, but the devotees were becoming a little uneasy. What's he doing to Prabhupada? He is not respecting him properly. But Srila Prabhupada was laughing and enjoying. And then after that, so he said that I can make coins vanish, this vanish, so many things. Then Prabhupada asked him, can you make the miseries of life, old age, death, disease, vanish? And the magician was a very humble man. Immediately he sat down at the feet of Prabhupada and he said, no, that I cannot do. And then Prabhupada said, so, I'll give you instruction by which you can make, I can make even the miseries of old age, death, disease, all of that vanish. And so he said, yes, Swamiji, only you can do that. He was very respectful. So, actually, Krishna says in the Gita, there are two important verses that we should reflect on, where Krishna talks about how we can mitigate these miseries. So, what is the solution, Krishna says? Sometimes people think that Krishna is going to give some kind of a magical solution by which there won't be no old age, no disease. No, that's not the magical thing, but definitely it is magical, it's important. Krishna is saying in the 7th chapter, Jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakilam. So Krishna is directly referring to Jara Marana Mokshaya. How one can be freed from Jara, old age, Marana, death, Mokshaya. And how does that happen? Mam ashritya yatantiye. Those who take shelter of me and endeavoring to Jara Marana Mokshaya. Jara Marana Mokshaya yatanti ye, those who are endeavoring, te Brahma. Krishna is saying they are actually Brahman. What does that mean? That means one who have taken shelter of Krishna, endeavoring to come out of the miseries of jara, marana, mokshaya, mam ashritya yatanti ye, te brahma, they are truly on a spiritual platform. Brahma, they have come to the spiritual platform. Tad vidhu kritsnam. Vidhu kritsnam means they know completely everything. So, complete knowledge is possible when one comes to Brahman platform by taking shelter of Krishna. Adhyatmam karma cha akhilam. And they know all about akhila karma viduhu. They know about fruitive activities. They know what is transcendental activities. They understand all of these things. Tad vidhu kritsnam. And so they are the knowers of these things. So this is one verse in the end of 7th chapter where Krishna talks about jara marana mokshaya. Another verse in the 14th chapter where even more specifically Krishna explains how one can come out of one can be freed from the miseries of old age. And because, when we get old, when we don't know what is going to happen to us, in what kind of situation we will be in. So, what is it, that protection that Krishna is offering, that we should take very seriously? So, that is what Krishna is saying in the 14th chapter. Gunan etan atityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair. Janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutam ashnute. How he can enjoy amrutam ashnute. He can experience that immortality by janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto. Specifically, Krishna is addressing the misery of janma mrityu jara dukkha vimuktai. And how does that work? Gunan etan atityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan. When we become transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Gunan etan atitya. Trin gunan etan atitya. When one transcends the modes of material nature, and then one will become janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutam ashnute. So this should be our attempt, our whole life. Our attempt should be how I can become gunan etan atityatrin and become brahma bhuta prasannatma. Again in the 18th chapter, Krishna sums up these instructions and says, Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kangshati. So it is to come to the spiritual platform. And in one lecture, Prabhupada says, commenting on this, just thinking that I am not this material body, I am a spirit soul, and I am connected to Krishna. This itself, this reflection of an advanced yogi. If we have not practiced these things will just be words. But for somebody who has reflected on this, practiced spiritual austerities, and like the instructions Prabhupada has given, chanting, regulative principles, done sadhana, then just reflecting on this fact that I am a spirit soul, not this body, I am a servant of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna, just that reflection can fill one's heart with joy, with spiritual joy. Amritam ashnute. So this is the instruction of the Bhagavatam. Kapila is also saying that these are all the things that one goes through, and hence one should prepare himself, and Harim ashrayeta, one should take shelter of Hari. So these are the instructions of the Vedic literatures. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.